My name is Jeremy, I'm 45 years old, and I have a beautiful wife and two lovely teenage daughters. In high school, I was strongly encouraged by my dad to play sports. By the time I got into my 20s, I was no longer actively participating in sports that competitively. I played like the occasional softball leagues, play some basketball, and then right around the time I got to about 30 years old, the whole not eating well, drinking too much, and not exercising caught up to me, and I found myself starting to gain a little bit of weight. And before I knew it, I went from overweight to obese. And for the last 15 years or so, I've been fighting that battle off and on. I've lost weight and I've gained it back. I've always known that on my dad's side of the family in particular, the risk for diabetes, particularly type 2 diabetes, is really high. Every single member of my dad's family who is overweight or obese has type 2 diabetes. And in January, when I went in for my checkup after a particularly exciting holiday season, I weighed in at a nice 5'11", 241 pounds. And my A1C had clocked in at 5.9, which was easily the highest that it's ever been. And it was a pretty strong signal that I was on my way to becoming like the rest of the family. And I knew at that point, all right, that was it. I had to change. There was no more excuse for me. By the time I was 30, 31, I was pretty much clinically obese by that point, which really, to be honest with you, that really kept me from doing the things that I enjoyed doing in the past. And not just the things that were athletic, like playing pickup basketball, but the simple things like bending over to tie my shoes or being able to walk 2 blocks without, getting exhausted. And the first thing I did was just the good old-fashioned, diet and exercise, but without guidance. And I think when you don't know how to do these things, it's really difficult. You have some success, but it can't be maintained. Actually, in addition to the Atkins diet, the paleo diet, my physician even put me on another weight loss medication, and it worked a little bit at the beginning, but I had to choose at one point between taking this medication or paying for my air conditioning in the summer. So obviously I couldn't do that. It just cost too much. At that point, I had a friend that told me about Lomaira. I spoke to my doctor about it, and we came up with a treatment plan.
Lomaira is an FDA-approved prescription medication used for a short period of time for weight reduction in adults with an initial body mass index of 30 or more, or 27 or more with at least one weight-related medical condition, such as controlled high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol, and should be used together with regular exercise and a reduced calorie diet. Body mass index, or BMI, measures the amount of fat in the body based on height and weight. Don't take Lomaira if you have a history of coronary artery disease, stroke, arrhythmias, congestive heart failure, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, are taking or have taken a monoamine oxidase inhibitor drug within the past 14 days, have overactive thyroid, glaucoma, agitation, or a history of drug abuse, are pregnant, nursing, or allergic to sympathomimetic amines such as phentermine or any of the ingredients in Lomaira.
Well, the hardest thing about dieting really is the beginning. You to plateau, and then it becomes much more difficult. With my job, I'd eat a breakfast, I'd eat lunch, and then there would be parts of the day where maybe I wouldn't eat or whatnot, and then I get home and I would just basically gorge myself. I'd consume many thousand calories probably in one sitting. So that's definitely something you don't want to do when you're trying to lose weight. And when you're 241 pounds and you're used to eating a certain way, that's a difficult stick to the plan that my doctor had for me. Very specific plan in terms of how I consume food, whether it's the amount of food, the carbohydrates, the calorie count, and it really made that first month go pretty well. My typical day starts at 4:30. I get myself to the gym and get my 1 hour workout in, and right when I get back, I'm ready for that by taking my first dose of Lomaira. Both of those actually tied me over till it gets close to lunchtime, and I'm already in pretty good shape from a calorie standpoint. So once that lunch is ready to come, I'm ready for my second dose. In check for those tough periods. When I started taking Lomaira, it was really to control how I ate specifically, to be able to stick to that diet plan that was given to me to help lose those initial pounds. It actually helped me in another phase too, is when I transitioned I started plateauing and I started to exercise. When I started to exercise, oftentimes that meant I would eat more, consume more calories, but Lomaira actually helped me stick to my diet plan while I was exercising and working out. Then I lost more weight. When I started, I was 241 pounds. This morning, I was 203. It's mostly about the food. I learned that, I was told that, and I actually learned that personally. Almost as a bit of a reward, our family took a cruise to Alaska, and I was able to actually hike the mountains in and around Juneau, about 2,000 feet above sea level, and I'm quite certain that's something I could not have done a few months ago. Even my wife agrees. Now I have a lot more time and energy to devote to family activities. You know, we can actually push the envelope a little bit and do things that we have not done together as a family recently because I couldn't do it. My doctor and I both agree now that I actually have the confidence to continue with these good habits and maybe even lose more weight. I'm not quite at goal yet, but I'm getting pretty much closer to having only one chin. Not only do I measure my weight loss in pounds, but I measure it in the amount of chins I actually have. The big difference between Lomaira and the other treatment options I've tried is it allows me to actually take it before dinner, and that's where the difficulty really lied. It actually allowed me to build a plan, design a plan, and stick with that plan. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that was the Lomaira difference.
Don't take Lomaira if you have a history of coronary artery disease, stroke, arrhythmias, congestive heart failure, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, are taking or have taken a monoamine oxidase inhibitor drug within the past 14 days, have overactive thyroid, glaucoma, agitation, or a history of drug abuse, are pregnant, nursing, or allergic to sympathomimetic amines such as phentermine or any of the ingredients in Lomaira. Taking phentermine with other drugs for weight loss is not recommended. Primary pulmonary hypertension, a rare fatal lung disease, has been reported in patients who had taken a combination of phentermine and fenfluramine or dexfenfluramine for weight loss. The possible association between phentermine use alone and primary pulmonary hypertension cannot be ruled out. Patients should tell their doctor immediately if they experience any decrease in the amount of exercise that they can normally tolerate, shortness of breath, chest or heart pain, fainting, or swelling in the lower legs. Serious heart valve problems or disease have been reported in patients taking a combination of phentermine and fenfluramine or dexfenfluramine for weight loss. The possible role of phentermine has not been established, therefore the possibility of an association between heart valve disease and the use of phentermine alone cannot be ruled out. If your body becomes adjusted to the maximum dose of phentermine so that its effects are experienced less strongly, the maximum dose should not be exceeded in an attempt to increase the effect. Caution is advised when engaging in potentially hazardous activities such as driving or operating machinery while taking phentermine. Phentermine has the potential to be abused. Keep Lomaira in a safe place to prevent theft, accidental overdose, misuse, or abuse. Using alcohol with phentermine may result in an adverse drug reaction. Phentermine can cause an increase in blood pressure. Tell your doctor if you have high blood pressure, even if it's mild. If you are taking medicines for type 2 diabetes, your doctor may have to adjust these medicines while taking phentermine. Some side effects of phentermine that have been reported include pulmonary hypertension, valvular heart disease, palpitations, increased heart rate or blood pressure, insomnia, restlessness, dry mouth, diarrhea, constipation, and changes in sexual drive. These are not all of the potential side effects of phentermine. For more information about Lomaira, ask your doctor or pharmacist. To report negative side effects of prescription drugs, contact FDA at 1-800-FDA-1088 or visit www.fda.gov/medwatch. For full prescribing information for Lomaira, please visit www.lomaira.com.